My boyfriend spent 3 years pretending to love me. Turns out he was plotting revenge because my sister called his sister in a drunk driving accident. For context, my name is Isabel, and I'm standing outside a coffee house in a strip mall 400 miles from my old life, staring at the man I thought was locked away forever. My hands are shaking so hard I drop my matcha. It explodes across the sidewalk into a puddle, and the mix of green and brown splash that looks like blood in the afternoon light. Everything feels wrong right now. The kids laughing at the playground across the street, cars pulling in and out of the parking lot, his voice saying my name like he owns it. Isabel, what a coincidence. I should run. Every cell in my body is telling me to run, but my legs feel like they're made of water. I'm frozen looking at Nathan, my ex-boyfriend, or would-be killer, or whatever he is now. And all I can think about is the last time I saw his face. In that courtroom when the judge gave him 7 years and he glared at me the whole time they put him in handcuffs mouthing, "You better pray I never see you again." That was 4 years ago. You're supposed to be in prison. My voice comes out strangled. He takes a step closer. He looks different. Prison thin. His cheekbones are sharper and there's something dead in his eyes that wasn't there before. Even that night in the car. Early release for good behavior. He smiles and it's all teeth. I don't miss the irony in that. They teach you things inside. Patience. Planning. How to find people who don't want to be found. If you come near me, I'll scream. No, you won't. You don't want to make a scene. You never did. That's how I knew you'd be perfect. Perfect. That word makes my skin crawl because I know what he means. Perfect victim. Perfect target. Perfect way to get to my sister Eva. The sister who killed his sister. The sister who only got probation while his got a coffin. I've spent 4 years in therapy trying to forget that night. The rope, the warehouse, his confession in the car. 4 years building a new life. New name, new job, new apartment, but not new enough. Let me back up. Let me tell you how this all started because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking no one ends up drugged and tied up in their boyfriend's car unless something really, really wrong happened. You're right. Nathan and I met at a coffee shop near my office. He was charming, apologetic, the kind of guy who turned spilling a latte into a meet cute. I was a professor. He said he was a firefighter. I gave him my number after he insisted on replacing my stained laptop bag. For 3 weeks, we just texted, he never pushed. He'd send good morning messages, ask about my job, and remember when I was burnt out. He waited for me to suggest we get dinner. Later, I'd wonder if he knew that would make me trust him more, letting me set the pace. Our first date was at a small Italian place. He let me talk the whole time. I told him about my family, about Eva being the wild one while I was the responsible one, about how my parents still lived in the same house where we grew up. He asked questions. He listened. He said his family was complicated and changed the subject. I thought he was being vulnerable, showing me that he had wounds. I didn't know his wounds had my sister's name on them. 3 months in, we were exclusive. He deleted his dating apps in front of me without me asking. He gave me a drawer at his place, then a key. He listened when I vented, learned my menstrual cycle, my anxiety triggers. When I had panic attacks, he knew exactly what to do. He'd researched it. He said I thought that was sweet. 6 months in, he met my parents. I was nervous. My hands kept fidgeting with my napkin in the car. "They're going to love you," I said. Nathan reached over and took my hand. "I just want them to know how much I love their daughter," he said, squeezing gently. Looking back, I wonder if he practiced that line. My mom answered the door and immediately pulled him into a hug. "You must be Nathan. Isabel talks about you constantly." He hugged her back, not the awkward pat most guys do, but a real hug. "She talks about you all the time too, Mrs. Coleman." I can see where Isabel gets her smile. Mom actually blushed. He helped her set the table, asking about each dish she'd made. "This china was my grandmother's," she told him, and he handled each plate like it was made of gold. "They're beautiful. There's something special about family heirlooms, isn't there?" She beamed at me over his shoulder, mouthing, "I love him." Halfway through, their garbage disposal started making a terrible noise. Nathan was already rolling up his sleeves. "Mind if I take a look?" My dad held the flashlight while Nathan worked. My dad taught me. Said a man should know how to fix things. His dad had ended his life, but I didn't know that yet. All I could think about at that moment was that he clearly won my father's approval. I just watched him work, his shirt pulling up slightly, revealing a scar on his lower back I'd never asked about. Eva walked in just as we were sitting down, 40 minutes late. Sorry, traffic was horrible." She looked good, healthy. She'd been sober for 18 months and had that clear-eyed look that made me proud every time I saw her. Nathan immediately stood up. Not a half stand that some guys do, but fully stood, walked around the table, extended his hand. "You must be Eva. Isabel's told me so much about you." "I'm Nathan." Eva looked surprised at the formality, the warmth. She took his hand. "All good things, I hope." She mentioned you've been sober for over a year. That's an incredible accomplishment. Eva's eyes got glassy. She looked at me, then back at him. Most people don't." She stopped, composed herself. "Thank you. That means a lot." My mom chimed in. 18 months next week. 18 months, Nathan repeated, like he was filing it away. He was. He knew exactly how long it had been. He knew it had been 24 months since Eva finished her probation and community service, 18 months since she got sober, 42 months since she killed his sister. "That takes real strength," he smiled. "Please sit." Nathan pulled out her chair. He poured her water first, then wine when she said she was drinking in moderation now. He poured exactly half a glass. I watched his hand. It was perfectly steady. He'd poured her wine like he was handling nitroglycerin. Careful. Precise. "1 glass with dinner sometimes. My therapist says it's about learning control, not complete abstinence." She said it defensively, like she expected judgment. "That makes sense," Nathan said easily. "Recovery isn't one size fits all. You know yourself best." Eva stared at him. "Yeah, exactly. Most people don't get that." He kept steering the conversation back to Eva. It seemed thoughtful at the time, including her, making her feel seen. "Isabel mentioned you work with at-risk youth?" Eva's whole demeanor changed. She sat up straighter, her voice got stronger. "Yeah, teenagers mostly. Kids who've made mistakes. Some of them remind me of myself at that age before I really went off the rails." "What kind of mistakes?" Nathan asked, leaning forward like he was genuinely interested. "DUIs, theft, assault, things that could ruin their lives if someone doesn't intervene." Eva pushed her food around her plate. "I got a second chance when most people thought I didn't deserve one. These kids deserve that too." "Everyone deserves a second chance," Nathan said. He raised his glass. to second chances and the people brave enough to take them. Eva had to put her glass down. Her hand was shaking. "I'm sorry," she said, pressing her napkin to her eyes. People don't usually." She looked at me. "Isabel, he's wonderful. The work you're doing matters," Nathan continued. "Those kids are lucky to have someone who really understands what they're going through." "Thank you," she whispered. Later in the kitchen, Eva cornered me while Nathan was outside helping my dad with something. "Don't let him go," she said fiercely. "I mean it, Isabel. That man is special. The way he looks at you. The way he just accepts everything. Do you know how rare that is?" I hugged her tight. "I know. I love him. I thought I was so lucky. I thought I'd found someone who could love my messy, complicated family. I didn't know he was memorizing Eva's laugh so he could remember it while planning how to hurt me to get back at her." We got back to his apartment around 10. I was a little tipsy from the wine, happy that everything had gone so well. Nathan was quiet on the drive home, and I thought he was just tired. We were getting ready for bed when he sat on the edge of the mattress, watching me take off my earrings. There was something in his expression I couldn't read, like he was working up to something. "Can I ask you something?" he said, and his voice had that careful quality that meant he'd been thinking about it for a while. My stomach did a little flip. "Of course," I said, turning to face him. He patted the bed next to him and I sat down, our knees touching. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the air conditioner. I don't want to be insensitive or bring up old wounds, but during dinner, Eva said she got a second chance, but she didn't think she deserved it. "Your family looked like they were going to cry, and what happened with your sister?" He took my hand, his thumb rubbing circles on my palm. "You don't have to tell me if it's too painful. I just want to understand your family. Understand you." He took my hand, his thumb rubbing circles on my palm. "You don't have to tell me if it's too painful. I just want to understand your family. Understand you." I looked at our intertwined fingers. His hands were warm, steady, safe. Part of me wanted to change the subject, to keep this ugly piece of my family's history buried. But this was Nathan. He'd been nothing but accepting, supportive. He deserved to know. "It's okay. You should know." I took a deep breath, feeling my chest tighten the way it always did when I thought about that night. "Remember when I told you Eva was the wild one and I was the responsible one?" He nodded, his eyes never leaving my face. "Well, she was really wild. She started drinking in high school, partying every weekend. I'd cover for her, tell my parents she was at my friend's house when really she was at some party getting wasted. I thought I was being a good sister. I thought I was protecting her." My voice was already shaking. Nathan squeezed my hand gently, encouraging me to continue. "My parents tried everything. Therapy, grounding her, taking away her car. Nothing worked. She'd sneak out, steal their liquor, show up to family dinners drunk. I remember one Christmas she threw up in my grandmother's bathroom, and I held her hair back and told everyone she had food poisoning. The memories were flooding back now, unstoppable. It got worse in college. She dropped out sophomore year, moved back home but spent all her time at bars. She had 3 DUIs by the time she was 22, but my parents kept bailing her out, kept hiring lawyers, kept making it go away. They thought they were helping. They thought they were giving her chances to get better. I had to stop. The guilt was suffocating. All those times I could have done something different, said something different." Nathan pulled me closer, his arm around my shoulders. "You were just a kid yourself. It wasn't your responsibility. But I was the older sister. I should have." I couldn't finish. The tears were coming now. Then one night, about 4.5 years ago, she went to some house party. Her ex-boyfriend's birthday or something stupid like that. She promised my parents she wouldn't drink. She'd been doing better, going to meetings. We all wanted to believe her. I could still remember that night, how I'd almost gone with her, how I decided to stay home instead. If I'd gone, maybe I could have stopped her. Maybe I could have taken her keys. Maybe that girl would still be alive. She drank so much she couldn't even remember leaving. Her friend said she seemed fine, just tipsy, laughing and dancing. But Eva had gotten good at hiding how drunk she was. She got in her car at 2 in the morning and was driving home. The words felt like glass in my throat. Nathan's breathing had changed, becoming deeper, more controlled. His hand was still holding mine, but his grip had changed somehow. "She hit someone," I whispered. "A 17-year-old girl who was walking home from her friend's house." Eva was going 50 in a residential zone. The girl was wearing dark clothes, walking on the side of the road because there weren't any sidewalks in that neighborhood. I was sobbing now, ugly crying into Nathan's chest. He held me, his hand stroking my hair, but his body had gone rigid. Eva didn't even realize she'd hit someone. She just kept driving. She thought she'd hit a mailbox or something. She drove home, parked in the driveway, went to bed. The girl died on impact. Alone. On the side of the road. It was 3 hours before someone found her. I could feel Nathan's heartbeat against my cheek, impossibly fast. "Oh, Isabel," he breathed. The next morning, police showed up at my parents' house. Eva was still asleep, still drunk from the night before. They had to wake her up to arrest her. I pulled back to look at him. His face was pale, his jaw clenched. How did they know it was her? "There was CCTV footage," I said, and watched something flicker across his face. From a nearby business. It showed everything. Every horrible second. Eva's license plate, the impact, her driving away without stopping, the girl flying through the air, landing in the ditch, Eva's car barely swerving, just keeping going like nothing happened. The silence that followed was deafening. Nathan wasn't looking at me anymore. He was staring at the wall, his breathing shallow. "They made Eva watch it," I continued, needing to fill the silence. "In court. She had to watch herself kill that girl. She had to see what she'd done because she didn't remember any of it. But there it was in black and white, undeniable. That poor girl just walking home. She was 17. She had a name, a family, a whole life, and Eva just erased it. In 3 seconds of footage, everything changed." Nathan stood up abruptly, walked to the window. His hands were pressed against the glass. That's horrible," he said, but his voice sounded strange, tight, for everyone involved. I wiped my face with my sleeve. "Nathan, are you okay? I'm sorry. This is so heavy. We were having such a nice night and I just dumped all of this on you." He turned around and his eyes were wet. For a moment his face looked different, sharp, like he was glaring at me. But then he was crossing the room, pulling me into his arms, holding me so tight I could barely breathe. "Don't apologize," he said into my hair. "Never apologize for trusting me with this." We stood there holding each other, and I felt closer to him than I'd ever felt to anyone. He pulled back, cupping my face in his hands. "That girl," he said softly. The one Eva hit. Did you know anything about her? I shook my head. Just that she was 17, an athlete, good student. The details were in the news, but my parents tried to shield us from it. They said knowing more would only make it worse. Nathan nodded slowly, his thumbs wiping away my tears. You're right. Some things are better not knowing. But he was wrong. I should have known everything. I should have known her name was Anya. I should have known she played volleyball. I should have known she had a brother named Nathan who identified her body because his dad couldn't bear to do it. I should have known that brother spent 3 years planning his revenge, that he was standing in my bedroom, holding me while I cried about the sister who destroyed his life. I should have known. But all I felt in that moment was grateful that someone finally understood the weight my family carried. I didn't know I was sleeping next to someone who was counting every tear, cataloging every detail, planning to use my guilt and grief against me. We stayed holding each other for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes. Then I felt him pull away slightly, his hand moving to his side, pressing against his ribs like something hurt. What is it? I asked, noticing how his face had changed, gone somewhere dark and far away. He shook his head, tried to smile, but I could see something breaking behind his eyes. Your story it reminded me of something. About losing people. About guilt. He sat down heavily on the bed, and I sat beside him. Our roles suddenly reversed. Now I was the one offering comfort, my hand on his back, feeling the raised ridge of that scar through his shirt. You don't have to tell me, I said softly, but part of me wanted him to. We'd shared something so raw, so painful. I wanted him to trust me the way I'd trusted him. He was quiet for so long, I thought he wouldn't speak. Then, I was 15. My mom had been dead for a year. Cancer. My dad never recovered from losing her. He started drinking, stopped going to work, stopped caring about anything, including me. His voice was so quiet I had to lean closer to hear him. He lifted his shirt, showing me the scar properly for the first time. It was ugly, jagged, running from his lower back around to his side like something had tried to tear him in half. One night he was drunk again, more drunk than usual. He was in the garage with all these photo albums, crying over pictures of my mom. I tried to get him to come inside, to eat something, to sleep it off. He got angry, said I looked too much like her, that it hurt to look at me. Nathan's hand traced the scar absently. He threw a bottle at me, missed. Then he picked up this old circular saw from his workbench. Not to hurt me, I don't think. He was just waving it around, ranting about how he should have been the one to die, not her. Tears were rolling down his face now. I tried to take it from him. We struggled. The saw was still plugged in and somehow it turned on. The blade caught me right here. He pointed to where the scar began. I remember the sound more than the pain. This wet, tearing sound. I fell backward and there was so much blood. My dad just stood there looking at his hands, at the saw, at me bleeding on the garage floor. He was completely sober in that instant. Stone cold sober. I gasped, my hand covering my mouth. The neighbors heard me screaming, called 911. While we waited for the ambulance, my dad held me. Kept saying he was sorry, over and over. Told me he loved me, that I was all he had left of her, that he'd ruined everything. Nathan turned to look at me, his face destroyed. They took me into surgery. 6 hours. When I woke up, my aunt was there. She couldn't look at me when she told me. While I was in surgery, my dad went back to the garage. He left a note saying he was a danger to everyone, especially me. That he loved me but couldn't trust himself not to hurt me again. He started his car and never turned it off. His voice broke completely. He killed himself in the same spot where he almost killed me. The same garage. They found him with my school photo in his hand. Nathan, oh my God, I whispered, pulling him against me. He collapsed into my chest, these deep, wrenching sobs shaking his whole body. The worst part is the note, he choked out. He wrote that watching me bleed was the only thing that made him realize he wanted to live. But by then it was too late. He'd already hurt me. He couldn't live with what he'd done. It wasn't your fault, I said, holding him tighter. None of it was your fault. I know that logically, he whispered. But I still feel like if I'd just left him alone that night, if I hadn't tried to take the saw, if I'd been less like her. No, I said firmly. No, your dad was sick with grief. You were a child trying to help your father. You loved him and he loved you. But grief and alcohol made him dangerous. His choice to end his life was about his pain, not about you. We lay down together, holding each other in the darkness. Two messed up people who understood what it was like to carry guilt that wasn't really ours. I thought him opening up like that, telling me this awful story, meant we were building something real, something that would last. The way he cried in my arms, the way he showed me his scars, both the physical one and the emotional stuff, it made me trust him completely. Looking back, I wonder how much of it was an act. If the tears were real, but for different reasons. If he was actually crying about his dead sister while telling me stories about his father. All I know is that night, I believed everything, every single word. I thought we were just two fucked up people who'd found each other. And that trust, that feeling like he really got me, is exactly what he'd used to destroy me. We lay down together, holding each other in the darkness. Two messed up people who understood what it was like to carry guilt that wasn't really ours. I thought him opening up like that, telling me this awful story, meant we were building something real. Something that would last. The way he cried in my arms, the way he showed me his scars, both the physical one and the emotional stuff, it made me trust him completely. Looking back, I wonder how much of it was an act. If the tears were real but for different reasons. If he was actually crying about his dead sister while telling me stories about his father. All I know is that night, I believed everything. Every single word. I thought we were just two fucked up people who'd found each other. And that trust, that feeling like he really got me, is exactly what he'd used to destroy me. 3 years later, we were carrying boxes into our new apartment. A 2-bedroom place with actual sunlight and a dishwasher that worked. I can't believe we finally got out of that hellhole, I said, setting down a box labeled kitchen stuff that definitely had bathroom stuff in it. Nathan laughed, wrapping his arms around me from behind. I told you my promotion would come through. Now you can finally have that home office you wanted. The second bedroom was tiny, but it was mine, and I'd already planned where my desk would go, where I'd hang my diplomas, where I'd grade papers without his TV distracting me. We'd been together 3 years, and it felt like we'd figured it out, you know? We knew each other's rhythms. He knew I needed coffee before conversation in the morning. I knew he needed to go for runs when he was stressed. We'd found our groove. Eva helped us move, which was huge because she and Nathan had become close. Like, weirdly close. She'd call him for advice before she'd call me. When she relapsed briefly 6 months ago, Nathan was the one who drove her to a meeting, sat in the parking lot for an hour waiting. "You got a good one," she'd tell me every time she saw us together. "Don't fuck it up." My parents loved him too. My mom had already started making jokes about grandchildren, and my dad had given Nathan his father's watch last Christmas, said he wanted it to stay in the family. But then, maybe 3 weeks after we moved in, something shifted. It was small things at first. Nathan started taking phone calls on the balcony instead of in front of me. He'd close his laptop when I walked into the room. He'd say he was working late, but when I'd text his work friend Derek would say Nathan had left hours ago. "Where were you?" I'd ask, and he'd say, "Oh, just drove around, needed to clear my head." Which was believable because the move had been stressful. His new position at work was demanding, but still, something felt off. My birthday was coming up in 2 weeks, and I convinced myself that's what it was. Nathan was terrible at keeping secrets from me. The year before, he'd tried to surprise me with concert tickets, and I'd found the receipt in his jacket pocket 3 weeks early. He was probably planning something, being extra secretive to make sure I didn't ruin the surprise. That had to be it. But my birthday came and went. He took me to dinner, gave me a necklace, perfectly nice but nothing that required weeks of sneaking around. "Is everything okay?" I asked him that night. "You've seemed distracted lately." "Just work stuff," he said, kissing my forehead. "Big project coming up. Nothing to worry about." Then I thought maybe it was our anniversary. 3 years was a big deal, right? Maybe he was planning something huge. A trip somewhere. Or maybe even. I didn't let myself think the word proposal, but it crossed my mind. The secretive phone calls continued. He started going to the gym at weird hours, like 10 at night or 5 in the morning. "Since when do you work out at midnight?" I asked one night when he came back sweaty at 12:30. "Gym's empty," he said. "I can actually use the equipment I want." He showered and got into bed, but he smelled wrong. Not like gym sweat. Like outside sweat. Like dirt, and something else I couldn't place. Our anniversary came and went too. Another nice dinner, another piece of jewelry, another night where nothing explained the weeks of strange behavior. By now it had been 2 months of this 2 months of Nathan being there but not really there. He'd zone out during conversations, forget things I'd told him, miss dinner plans with my parents. "Are you cheating on me?" I asked one night, point blank. The question surprised both of us. He looked genuinely shocked. "What? No. Isabel, no. How could you even think that? Then what is it? You're lying about where you are, you're distracted all the time, you're taking secret phone calls. What am I supposed to think?" He pulled me into his arms, held me tight. "I'm sorry. You're right, I've been weird. Work is just, there's this situation I can't talk about, but it's almost resolved, I promise. Just give me a few more weeks." I wanted to believe him. I did believe him. Nathan had never given me a reason not to trust him. 3 years and he'd been perfect. Supportive, loving, faithful. Maybe he was in trouble at work. Maybe he was protecting me from something stressful. I decided to let it go. But then I found the hardware store receipts. 5 of them. Stuffed in the glove compartment of his car when I was looking for the insurance card. Rope, zip ties, plastic sheeting, a shovel. "Planning a garden?" I asked, trying to keep my voice light when I showed him the receipts. His face did something weird, just for a second. Then he laughed. "Actually, yeah. I wanted to surprise you with raised beds for herbs. You mentioned wanting to grow your own basil and stuff." It made sense. I had mentioned that. But something about his expression, that split second of panic, stuck with me. The next day, I was having lunch with my friend Melissa, and she mentioned her and husband used Life 360. So I went home that day and made a joke about it. "Maybe we should get Life 360, I said to Nathan that night, keeping my tone playful. "You know, like Melissa and her husband have, just so we know where each other are, for safety." I was smiling, making it clear I was kidding. Sort of. His whole body went rigid. Why would we need that? His voice was cold in a way I'd never heard before. I was just joking. Melissa was saying, I don't care what Melissa was saying. We're not tracking each other like we're on parole. That's fucked up, Isabel. Do you really trust me that little? "I trust you," I said, taken aback by his reaction. I said I was joking. "No, you weren't. You think I'm hiding something. You think I'm lying to you." He stood up, started pacing. 3 years, Isabel. 3 years and suddenly you want to track my every move? You have been lying to me. About where you are, what you're doing. What am I supposed to think? I told you, it's work stuff. Then why can't you just tell me what it is? Because I can't. Jesus Christ, why can't you just trust me? He stormed out, went to the bedroom and slammed the door. We'd had arguments before, but nothing like this. He'd never yelled at me like that. Never made me feel crazy for asking reasonable questions. I slept on the couch that night, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what the hell was happening to us. In the morning, he apologized, brought me coffee in bed, said he'd overreacted, that the stress was getting to him. Just a few more weeks, he promised. Everything will go back to normal soon. Looking back, I should have pushed harder. Should have demanded answers. Should have noticed that he didn't say everything would be better, just that it would go back to normal. But what was normal when your entire relationship was built on a lie? When the man you loved had been playing a character for 3 years, and the mask was finally starting to slip? I didn't know it then, but those receipts weren't for garden beds. That late-night gym session was him scoping out abandoned places. Those phone calls were him talking to someone about me, about Eva, about timing. He wasn't having an affair. He was planning something so much worse. 2 nights later, Nathan cooked dinner. My favorite? Chicken parmesan with a good wine from the place downtown. "I want to apologize properly," he said, lighting candles on our little dining table. "I've been an asshole and you deserve better." He looked like the Nathan I fell in love with. Soft eyes, that crooked smile, the way he pushed his hair back when he was nervous. "I know I've been weird and defensive, and I hate that I made you feel like you did something wrong." I sat down, relief washing over me. This was my Nathan. This was us getting back to normal. "I just want us to be okay," I said, taking a sip of wine. He'd already poured it, had it waiting for me. "We are okay. We're perfect. You're perfect." He raised his glass. To us. To 3 years of the best thing that ever happened to me. We clinked glasses and I took another sip. Bigger this time. The wine tasted a little off, maybe corked, but I didn't want to ruin the moment by complaining. We ate and talked and it felt like before, almost. His face was doing something weird though, like he was watching me instead of looking at me. "Are you okay?" I asked, but my words came out slurred. The room tilted a little. "I'm fine," he said, and there was something in his voice. Something cold. How are you feeling? My tongue was thick, heavy. The room was spinning now, really spinning, like I was drunk but wrong. This wasn't drunk. This was something else. What did you? I tried to stand, but my legs were water. Nathan didn't move. He just sat there watching me try to get up, watching me fail. You should probably sit down, he said calmly. It'll be over soon. What? What did you do? My voice sounded far away. He took another bite of his chicken, chewed slowly, swallowed. I drugged you, Isabel. I thought that would be obvious by now. The words didn't make sense. Nothing made sense. Nathan's face was changing, becoming someone else's face. Someone I didn't know. Why? But the word barely came out. My vision was going dark at the edges. The last thing I saw was him standing up, walking around the table toward me. Not rushing, not panicking, just walking calmly toward me as I collapsed onto the floor. Because it's time, he said, and then everything went black. I woke up to the sound of the road, that specific hum of highway under tires. My mouth tasted like copper and my head felt like it was splitting open. I tried to move my hands, but they were behind me, tied, rope cutting into my wrists. I was in the back of Nathan's car, lying across the seats, and we were moving fast. Nathan! My voice cracked. I could see him in the rearview mirror. His eyes flicked to mine. You're awake. Good. I was worried I gave you too much. What the fuck is happening? Where are we going? I tried to sit up, but the world spun violently. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere no one will bother us. His voice was different. Flat. Empty of everything that made him Nathan. You need to hear something before. Well, before. Before what? Nathan, please, you're scaring me. Whatever's wrong, we can talk about it. We can fix it. He laughed. Not his real laugh. Something bitter and sharp. Fix it? Can you bring back the dead, Isabel? Can you fix that? What are you talking about? But even as I asked, something cold was creeping up my spine. My sister's name was Anya. He said it conversationally, like we were discussing the weather. Anya Olsen, 17 years old, 5'2", played volleyball, honor roll. She was walking home from practice on March 15th, 4.5 years ago. It was a Tuesday, 9:43 p.m. My whole body went ice cold. Nathan. She was wearing her practice jersey, number 11, blue and white. Your sister hit her going 52 miles per hour in a 25 zone. Her blood alcohol was 3 times the legal limit. Oh God, oh my God. My sister killed yours. The words came out as a whisper. He looked at me in the mirror again. Now you're getting it. Took you long enough. 3 fucking years and you never even asked my last name. Never wondered why someone like me would want someone like you. Never questioned anything because you were so desperate to be loved. This is insane. You're insane. Our whole relationship was a lie. Yes, every second of it. Every kiss. Every I love you. Every fuck. All of it was to get to this moment. No, the word ripped out of me. No, you loved me. I know you loved me. You can't fake that for 3 years. Watch me. He pulled over onto a dark side road, gravel crunching under the tires. You want to know the truth? You disgust me. Every time you touched me, I wanted to throw up. Every time you said you loved me, I pictured my sister's body in the morgue. Do you know what a human body looks like after it's been hit by a car? Do you know what sound it makes? He turned around in his seat to face me fully. His face was twisted into something inhuman. She broke like a doll. That's what the coroner said. Broke like a doll. 17 bones fractured. Internal bleeding. Brain trauma. She was alive for 3 minutes after your sister hit her. 3 minutes lying in a ditch, drowning in her own blood. Alone. And your sister drove home and went to bed. Eva paid for what she did. She got probation. Community service. Probation. He screamed it, spit flying from his mouth. Community service. My sister is dead forever and yours gotta pick up trash on the highway for 6 months. Your rich fucking parents made sure of that. Made sure she never saw the inside of a cell. Your daddy's money fixed everything, didn't it? That's not, we didn't, but I couldn't finish because it was true. My parents had money. Old money. Family money. The lawyer cost more than most people's houses. Your parents didn't even blink. He laughed bitterly. And it worked. The judge gave her a slap on the wrist because she was young, because she had potential, because she was sorry. She is sorry. She lives with it every day. Good. But it's not enough. It'll never be enough. He got out of the car, walked around to my door. When he opened it, I tried to kick him, but he grabbed my ankles, dragged me out onto the gravel. He pulled me to my feet, his grip bruising my arms. So I decided to take something else. Something that would hurt just as much. Nathan, please, I didn't do anything. I wasn't even there. No, but you benefited from it. Your sister got to walk free, get sober, get a job, move on. She got a second chance my sister never will, and you got to keep your sister. You gotta have family dinners and birthdays and holidays. You know what I got? I gotta pick out a coffin. I gotta watch my dad end his life because he couldn't keep living without my sister. He dragged me toward the woods, my feet scrambling for purchase on the gravel. The scar on my back? That was real. But it wasn't from my dad. It was from the car accident I got into after leaving the morgue. I was so fucked up after identifying her body that I crashed into a guardrail. Went right through my window. Almost died. Should have died. Would have been better if I had. Then why didn't you just kill Eva? Why me? I was sobbing now, snot and tears mixing on my face. Because death is too easy. I wanted her to suffer the way my family suffered. I wanted her to lose someone she loved for no fucking reason other than wrong place, wrong time. I wanted her to know that grief. That specific grief of senseless loss. He threw me to the ground, started pulling something from his trunk. The shovel, the rope, the plastic. 3 years I pretended to love you. 3 years I listened to your stupid stories, met your fucking parents, smiled at that murderer across the dinner table. Do you know how hard it was not to kill her right there? To pour her wine when I wanted to slam her head into the table? Our relationship? It meant nothing. I was bargaining now, desperate. The night you cried in my arms about your dad. The morning you said you loved me for the first time. Our anniversary when you said I saved you. None of it was real. I was still on the ground where he'd thrown me, gravel digging into my knees, hands tied behind my back. He dropped the shovel next to me, then knelt down, grabbed my face hard, forcing me to look at him. Every word was calculated. Every touch was strategy. I studied you for 6 months before that coffee shop meeting. I knew exactly how you liked your coffee, what books you read, what would make you trust me. You were so fucking easy. So desperate for someone to love your broken family that you never questioned why someone like me would want someone like you. Someone like you? Someone who spent 3 years planning the perfect revenge? Someone who gave up everything, my name, my life, my sanity, to make your sister pay. He stood up, grabbed the shovel, testing its weight in his hands. Tomorrow morning they'll find your body. Suicide. You've been depressed, I'll tell them. The guilt about what Eva did finally got to you. You left a note saying you couldn't live with it anymore. And Eva will have to live with that. That her actions killed not just my sister, but you too. They'll know. They'll figure it out. You can't. I can. I have. Everything is planned. He turned his back on me, walking toward a flat spot to start digging. Your journal with entries I've been forging for months about your depression. The search history on your laptop about suicide methods. I've been telling your friends you seem down. No one will question it. That's when I saw it. A broken bottle in the gravel, maybe 3 feet away. While he was turned around, I scooted toward it, ignoring the rocks tearing through my jeans. My fingers found the jagged edge and I started sawing at the rope. Nathan, please. I love you. Despite everything, I still love you. That's the difference between us, Isabel. Your love was real. Mine never was. The rope snapped. I grabbed the bottleneck and lunged at him just as he turned around. The glass caught him across the face and he screamed, dropping the shovel. Blood poured from a gash on his cheek. You fucking bitch! I ran barefoot, dizzy from whatever he drugged me with. But I ran, and I could hear him behind me, crashing through the underbrush. Isabel, you're making this worse! I hit the road and kept running. My feet were bleeding, leaving prints on the ground. I could see headlights in the distance. I ran toward them, waving my arms. Help! Please help me! But the car drove past, didn't even slow down. Nathan was getting closer. I could hear his breathing, ragged and angry. I ducked into the woods on the other side of the road, trying to lose him in the darkness. A branch caught my face, tearing skin. I kept going. Then his hand was in my hair, yanking me backward. I fell hard. The wind knocked out of me. He was on top of me, his hands around my throat. You were supposed to make this easy. You were supposed to just die. I clawed at his face, finding the cut from the bottle, digging my fingers into it. He howled and pulled back just enough for me to bring my knee up hard into his groin. He doubled over and I rolled away, grabbed a rock, and swung it at his head. It connected with a sick thud. He went down but not out. He grabbed my ankle as I tried to run again, pulling me down. We rolled in the dirt, him trying to pin me fighting like an animal. I bit his hand when it came near my face, tasting blood. He backhanded me so hard I saw stars. 3 years! He was screaming. 3 years of my life wasted on you! I found the shovel he'd dropped, swung it at his knees. He went down screaming. I didn't stop to look back. I ran toward the road again, saw another car coming. This time I stood in the middle of the road. They'd have to stop or hit me. The car screeched to a halt. An older woman, eyes wide with terror. Please, I gasped. Please help me. Call 911. She must have seen the blood, the terror in my eyes, because she immediately locked her doors and grabbed her phone. Get in! She yelled, unlocking just the passenger door. I dove in as Nathan emerged from the woods, limping, his face a mask of blood and rage. The woman floored it, tires squealing. In the mirror, I watched him get smaller and smaller until he was just a shadow. The woman was driving 90 in a 50, her knuckles white on the steering wheel. Oh my God, she kept saying. Are you okay? Should I take you to the hospital? Police, I gasped. Please, he's going to come after us. She handed me her phone with shaking hands, already calling 911. I could hear it ringing on speaker. My hands were so bloody I left streaks on the screen. 911, what's your emergency? My boyfriend tried to kill me, Nathan Olson. He drugged me, tied me up. He was going to bury me. I'm in a car with... I looked at the woman. Margaret, she whispered. Margaret. She picked me up on Route 49 near mile marker 17. He's still there. He might be following us. Are you safe right now, ma'am? I don't know. I don't think so. He's been planning this for years. He killed his girlfriend, made it look like suicide. That's what he was going to do to me. We're dispatching units to your location now. Can you get to somewhere public? Margaret took the phone. I'm taking her to the Walmart on Exeter. It's 5 minutes away. Please send someone there. She looked in the rearview mirror and went pale. There's headlights behind us, coming fast. I turned around. High beams getting closer. It could be anyone, but I knew it wasn't. That's him. That's his car. Margaret ran a red light. The car behind us followed. Hold on, she said, and took a hard right into a residential area. The tires screamed. Behind us, Nathan's car took the turn too fast, fishtailed, but kept coming. Margaret was driving through people's yards now, mailboxes exploding under her bumper. Where are the fucking cops? I screamed into the phone. Units are 3 minutes out, ma'am. Keep moving. Nathan rammed us from behind. Margaret's car lurched forward. She managed to keep control, barely. The Walmart, she gasped. If we can just get to the Walmart. Another hit from behind. This time we spun out, ended up on someone's lawn. Nathan's car screeched to a stop. He got out, limping but moving fast. Margaret was trying to start the car again, but it wouldn't turn over. Run, she said. Both doors. Run different directions. We burst out of the car just as Nathan reached it. I ran toward the houses, screaming for help. Lights were coming on. Dogs were barking. I could hear sirens finally, getting closer. I looked back and saw Nathan had followed me. Not Margaret. Of course. It was always about me. I ran between 2 houses, through a backyard. A motion light came on. Nathan was maybe 20 feet behind me, his face covered in blood from where I'd cut him. Isabel! He wasn't even trying to be quiet anymore. You can't run forever. I grabbed a trash can, threw it behind me. He tripped, went down hard. I kept running. The sirens were louder now. So loud. Then blue and red lights were everywhere. Police! Stop where you are! I collapsed on someone's front lawn, sobbing. That's him! Nathan Olson! He tried to kill me. Nathan tried to run, but his injured knee gave out. 2 cops tackled him. He was screaming about his sister, about justice, about how I deserve to die. She killed my sister. Her family killed Anya. Sir, you have the right to remain silent. No, you don't understand. They got away with murder. I was just making it right. They put Nathan in the back of a police car as he rambled. He was staring at me through the window, his face twisted with so much hate it didn't look human anymore. This isn't over, he mouthed. A detective knelt next to me. Ma'am, we're going to need you to come to the station. Tell us everything. 3 years, I said, watching the police car with Nathan drive away. He planned this for 3 years. Everything was a lie. You're safe now, the detective said, but I didn't feel safe. I'd never feel safe again. How do you trust anyone after something like that? How do you believe in love when it was used as a weapon against you? They took me to the hospital first, documented every injury, photographed every bruise, the rope marks on my wrists, the handprint on my throat, the cuts on my feet from running barefoot. Each one evidence. Each one proof that the man who said he loved me had tried to kill me. Eva showed up at the hospital, hysterical. Isabel, oh my God, Mom called me Nathan? Our Nathan? He was Anya Olsen's brother, I said, and watched her face go white. The girl you hit. He's her brother. Eva's legs gave out. She had to grab the wall. No, that's not. We had dinners. He held my hand. He told me everyone deserved a second chance. He was planning to kill me the whole time. To make you suffer. She threw up in the hospital trash can. Then she held me while we both cried. Anya Olsen was dead. Nathan Olsen was going to prison. And I was alive but broken in ways I didn't have words for yet. But just when I thought the tragedy was over, Nathan showed up years later. What are you doing here? I ask, trying to sound brave. I'm going to finish what I started, he says, pulling out a pocket knife I run out of pure instinct. I sprint into the coffee house, shoving past the line of customers. Call 911, I scream, but Nathan's already behind me, the knife hidden against his leg. People are confused, not understanding. He looks calm, controlled. I look insane. I burst through the back exit, setting off an alarm. Good. The more noise, the better. I'm in the back parking lot now, dumpsters and delivery trucks. Nathan comes through the door fast, not pretending anymore. There's nowhere to go, Isabel. He's not shouting. His voice is calm, reasonable, which makes it worse. I've had 4 years to think about this. 4 years to realize I don't need to make it look like suicide. I just need you dead. I keep backing up, looking for anything to use as a weapon, a broken pallet, a metal pipe, anything. The police know you're out. They warned me. If anything happens, they'll know it was me. He shrugs. Prison already took everything. My future, my reputation, my life. What else can they do to me? He swings at me faster than I expect, and the knife tears through my skin. Not deep, but my blood drips down my arm. I turn and run toward the street, toward traffic, toward witnesses. My feet pound on the pavement and I can hear him right behind me, breathing hard, footsteps getting closer. The knife catches my back, slicing through my shirt and skin. I scream but don't stop. Can't stop. The main road is right there. 4 lanes of rush hour traffic, cars flying past at 40, 50 miles per hour. I don't think. I just run straight into traffic. Horns blast, brakes squeal. A sedan swerves around me, the driver's face frozen in shock. I make it across the first lane, second lane. I'm in the middle of the road now, traffic chaos all around me. Isabel! Nathan's voice behind me, full of rage. You can't escape! I look back. He's following me into traffic, knife still in his hand, so focused on me he doesn't see the truck. It's going 45. The driver is looking at his phone, only glancing up when Nathan stumbles into his path. He hits the brakes, but physics doesn't care. The impact is instant and brutal. Nathan's body goes up and over the hood, across the windshield, lands 20 feet away on the ground. The driver gets out, hysterical. He came out of nowhere. I couldn't stop. Nathan is on the pavement, not moving. A pool of blood spreads beneath him, so much like the description he gave of his sister all those years ago. The irony isn't lost on me.